Good morning, everybody. I am happy to be here with you out on Longboat Key. It's going to be a fantastic video, Dibbly. You're not going to believe what I had to show you today. It is amazing. This is going to be an amazing video. No, actually, I'm just kidding. What I actually have for you is some info on Lido Beach and some of the improvements that they've made out here. Let's take a look what's going on out here. All right, so as some of you may or may not know, we had Hurricane Michael come through maybe about, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and tore a lot of the sand out here on Lido Key. And there was all this concrete that was left because for some reason they had buried concrete out on this public part right next to the jetty. It's on the left out here in the lifeguard. So I did a video, and like I said, you may have seen it or you may not have seen it, but right here in this specific area, you can see how the dunes are kind of at a, the sand has been sucked out and the roots are just hanging there. So you can see how the sand has been taken, essentially. A month and a half back, those sand levels were consistent with these dunes and tapered down, and we lost a lot of sand. So right here in this spot, there was actually chunks of concrete that were, I believe, from an old casino, were uncovered because all this sand out here got sucked out, and there was just random large, like 6 foot, 4 foot pieces of concrete right by this lifeguard stand is where I shot. I'll put the video link in there so you can see what it looked like before. So the county has basically been trying to put more sand. They call it renourishment. Put more sand on the beach because we've been losing sand consistently throughout the last 2 or 3 years, and it's something they have to do periodically, like every 5 years. Anyway, so specifically right in front of this lifeguard stands, there was really big pieces of concrete. There was metal, what do they call that? That rebar, reinforced metal. So they have started the renourishment, and they do have tractors down here. We're going to go take a look in a second on what they have done. This side has not been renourished, but you can see how thin the beach is at this point. You can see where the water line is right here, and it's maybe 30 feet, maybe 40 feet on a high tide day. Very little beach. And this is basically the main, right next to the main public beach where the parking is. There's also the beach that does extend down 1.5 miles or so down this direction. So we're going to go down and take a look at how they're putting the new sand in. So there are a few remnants of the concrete. Remnants? Is it remnants? Remnant or remnants? See this concrete piece here that has the blue paint on it? This is what some of the stuff that was sticking out of the sand. So the guy told me yesterday, the lifeguard told me yesterday, they actually came down with one of the tractors and pulled the concrete out. So here's a big chunk of concrete. So people were basically, they left the beach open, and people were basically just having to walk around these large chunks of concrete. A little bit of backstory on the dredging and the filling of sand. So sometimes you are able to haul in sand on trucks, which I hear is more expensive. The other method is you put a big pipe out and you suck up sand from 1 mile or so out, and you pump it back onto the beach with a pipe. So that's what I think they're doing now, as far as I know. And there was an ongoing lawsuit about somebody excuse me, there's a little bit of algae in the air making me cough. The county, yeah, it's funny, the county and the city were disputing where they were going to dredge from, and that took like a year to finalize that dispute. And now that that is all done, they're able to now finally. So this is one of Sarasota's gems. This and Siesta Beach are the main beaches of Sarasota County, and it's really a good feeling to see that they're out here starting to get this to work, because this really needed to be done about 1.5 years ago, because this part of the beach, which let's just call this like the south part of the beach down here, is really just taken a beating with the storms that have come through, Hurricane Irma and Michael and tropical storms. So you can see the equipment. I guess that's an earth mover. Is that what they call that? Or some kind of steam shovel scoop? What do you call that thing? It's a earth scooper. It's a large pooper scooper. So you can see that there's a black pipe right over there, and it looks like they have buried it offshore. Usually they have a barge out there, and wherever the pump is usually where the barge is. I don't see where it is though. Maybe it's a ways down. But what I have noticed in the past is that they also work at night too. So they got lights out here. They will work at night, and they'll be out here dredging at night, so the beach can sort of continue on as in the daytime, because Sarasota's tourism is a huge part of the income for the restaurants, hotels, everything related to beach and tourism comes from people visiting and wanting to come see the white sand and the beautiful shores and everything that comes with it. That's what we're famous for. People come from around the world, you know, different countries, Europe and all over the place to come see big pipes. All right, so I kind of wish I had been here to see like where this pipe went, but maybe, yeah, you normally see, okay, so here's the pipe right here. Normally you'd see it and you'd see a barge out there, but maybe it's some kind of self-contained system that is basically a water pump or a sand pump. It pumps water and sand. So what you'll see normally if they are working, you would see like water coming out of that pipe, and then it would be a little pool, and then the sand would settle in the pool and the water would be pumped out. So this section of the beach, for whatever reason, is a lot larger, and you can see the size of sand that's left compared to the south side, essentially. This beach actually comes out pretty far, and I don't have the expertise to know exactly why that is, but I know that there's like a peninsula that sticks out, and there's a lot more sand between, let's just say, this building and the tip of the sand. I don't know. It's beyond my comprehension. But it's cool to report that they are pumping sand out here. So I believe that a lot of this sand right in this area and here has been added. And the reason I can tell is because of the color. Let's see if we can tell the difference here. See if you can tell the difference in the color of the sand here. They've recently done this at Longboat Key too, actually. So right here I can see a difference in the color. Maybe not from that angle. Oh, here we go. So this would be the existing sand that's a little bit whiter, and the darker gray sand right about here is where you can see that added layer of sand. And a lot of times it comes with a lot more shells too. Like, for instance, this is considered gold. This fine, somewhat fine white sand. Siesta Key is quoted as having like the nicest sand because it's all just like super clean, and they actually rake that beach too. And you can see maybe a little bit of difference in the texture of this sand, which is going to have more shells, somewhat smaller shells, because it's being pumped from offshore where all the shells are. Most beaches have shells. It's just that for some reason in our area, from beyond my comprehension, the sand tends to be more the fine sand and less of the coarse. So you got a lot of shells here that have probably been pumped up. A lot of shells. They're usually up toward the water. So I thought it was important to document this moment because it only comes around every couple years. And for some reason there's some kind of stick here, some kind of a stick with a yellow and pink thing sitting there, maybe marking some specific thing. And I see other markers down here too. So maybe they're surveying the beach and they have these markers up. Let's go take a we're going to take a look down at the end a little bit and see if there's anything else to see down at the end. We've got some pigeons out here. You don't see pigeons often out. Usually you see something like that, like a seagull. Some pigeons have raided the beach looking for food. This tends to be sort of the more crowded part, is further down. So we've got these survey sticks, I believe, and they come in with the big earth movers normally, and the bulldozers pull that sand and just fill it all in. And I guess they have it surveyed, you know, by quadrants and maybe by height. They're looking for a certain height, I guess. I don't see any height markers on this. This is the first time I've ever actually been able to come out here and observe sort of the process. I have seen it on Longboat Key, but I have not really been able to walk around the areas that they're actually filling. Got some young beachgoers coming by, and it is very noticeable that there's a lot more cars here. There's a lot more cars right up. Say just down the road is one of the big shopping areas on Lido. It's called St. Armand's, and it's really good to see the economy coming back, because people were really suffering. The restaurants were laying people off. They couldn't make any money. They needed to get loans. You know, it's been a real curse with this red tide thing. And then on top of it, you know, the beach is getting affected. So I don't see any evidence of them filling the beach. So they must have just started this side, and maybe they're working their way south. I wanted to get a little bit better shot of the pipe. It's funny because I thought they would have more equipment out here. Usually they have like all kinds of barricades and all kinds of things. Last time I went out to Longboat, it was a much bigger production. I don't know if maybe some of their equipment is just not here right now because there's nobody working. But essentially, like I said, you've got a large pipe that's going to spew out water and sand into like a big pile, and you can see this this digger right here is basically going to be scooping it up and piling it up, and it seems like they're trying to keep it a little bit more low-key as not to disrupt the main beach. Like I said, you've got, this is fenced off essentially, and in previous times I've seen this happen, it has been a fence. I mean, they get really anal about people just walking. I mean, essentially you could come out here at night and just walk around. So that's the situation, and it seems like things are going well. And by the amount of tourists I see and people shopping, it's a good thing for Sarasota. It's a great thing. Fortunately, my job is not beach related, so I was fortunate. But I do feel for the people who have been out of work, losing money, the businesses, the small businesses that are really counting on. I mean, we basically have year-round tourism because, you know, it doesn't snow in Florida, but most of the time. We have people out here in December, January, February. People love the vacation out here. They come out to the beach, 50, 60 degrees, it doesn't matter. Wind and rain. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I also, like I said, I also sort of have a before the scenes of after Hurricane Michael. I'll try to put that at the end so you can click on it and kind of see the before. But it's a good day. Today is a good day, and it's really good to see because I do enjoy the beach. I enjoy running out here, and it has been kind of a little bit depressing because of the circumstances. Anyway, if you felt this video was helpful, hit the like button, smash the like button, subscribe, Sanskrit, the subscribe button, and help me out. Maybe share this on Facebook so it gets the word out that Sarasota is rebuilding their beach. Red tide is not so much a factor. Send your friends and your family out because Lido Beach is back in action. I think this is supposed to be finished by February, so it should be hopefully a new start, and this red tide thing is going to be out of here for good. Hope you guys had a great day. See you in the next video.